now we looked at clamp to Udagatame. Now we're going to look at when our partner goes into more defensive reactions, and we look to go into back takes instead, where the arm slips by, for whatever reason we lose it, and then we go into attacks on our partner's back. Okay? So we're going to move in to this good attacking position here, where we move into a clamp. This time, we start going for Udagatame. As we start going for Udagatame, our partner's arm, for whatever reason, slips by. Whenever I see this, I have to make sure that I control this elbow. If she can posture and the head comes back up and she brings her elbow back across my center line, that's no good for me. So as soon as the elbow slips by, I make sure that we come in and we control the elbow with a hand, a false grip, over the bicep here. Now I control the far lat muscle. So when she goes to get up on me and get her head height, I can always pendulum because I'm holding her in a stationary position. I can easily get up faster than her, and I can start to knock her down and go into my attacks. Okay? Because we have a foot on the hip, that usually turns into our near side hook, and now we can start to break our partner down and go into all of our attacks. Okay? So we come in, we start with this clamp position here. We start to go for Udagatame, but what happens? Our partner's arm comes by. We have to make sure immediately we control the left hand, and we just use our right hand to pull her elbow down towards the crease of my right arm. So now I have my body weight on top of her elbow. When she goes to posture now, she can posture, but she can't pull the arm free right away. So I control the posture even better with my left arm, and now, as we both go to get up at the same time, I'll come up first. Now all I have to do is post the hand and heist up. And now I have head and hip height on my partner, and now we can go into all of our attacks. Okay? So we move into this clamp position off the pinch headlock. Okay? Once we get into this position, we start going for the Udagatame. But now, as we start rising up, the hand slips by. Whenever we see this, we just immediately pull the elbow through. Okay? We can do it also, as soon as we pull the elbow down, we can immediately pendulum up. We're now on an elbow, and now I have a similar to an arm drag grip, but not quite the same. Now I have a wedge behind my partner's tricep. Where now she goes to get up, all I have to do is post up on a knee, and now I'm in an attacking position. So the second I see a failed Udagatame, where the hand slips by, we immediately catch here. So we have two hands on. We have a 2-on-1 on our partner. Hand slips by. 1, 2. Now I pull her elbow down towards the floor with my right arm. Here. Okay? So I want to get her elbow underneath my rib cage. We grab the far lat. Now I seem far away from my partner, but because I'm holding her in a static position, as we both go to get up, I can always get head height. Now, as she goes to punch her hand back across my center line, I'm already heisted up. So we have a slight advantage on our partner because we control her through the arm and the far lat. My partner can always get up, but we can always get up slightly faster, and that's all we need. Okay? So we come in, we move into a clamp, the hand slips by. As soon as I see this, we immediately pull the arm in. Now, as we both go to get up, I'm here. My head's higher than hers. Now, as she goes to move, I'm ready to attack, internal position, and now I have a back take off of a failed Udagatame. Alright, so another great option from a clamp when we failed the Udagatame, instead of going into our partner's back, we just move into a Judagatame, okay, where we move into a similar position that we were in before. For this time, we come in, we go from a pinch headlock into this fine attacking clamp position here. Now we come through, and as we go for Udagatame, my partner's arm slips by. Once I see this, all we need to do is to invert our left knee down to the floor. So we come in, we tuck our right elbow underneath our rib cage. I can't invert unless this happens. So all I need to do is tuck my right elbow under my rib cage. And now this makes it very easy to come up to my right knee and to invert my left knee. Now my partner locks her hands defensively. And now, what do we have? The same position we were in before. Where now we come through, we fall down to a hip, and we can easily roll our partner up and over, and lock into Juji Gatame to go in for winning positions. Okay? So we come in, we move from a pinch headlock to a clamp. Now we come in, we like to go for Udagatame. Once I go for Udagatame, now my partner's arm slips by, so we look to invert. The only way we can invert is by closing our left knee into our partner's shoulder and by tucking our right elbow underneath our body. Or now we can invert the left knee down to the floor, fall to our left hip, and roll our partner through, just like we did in all the previous moves. Okay? So once again, we have a failed Udagatame, move to a pinch headlock, we move into a clamp position. Now we got Udagatame 1. As the hand slips by, we just make sure to invert our left knee to the floor. How do we do this? Specifically by getting our right elbow underneath our rib cage. How do we do that? By closing our left knee into our partner's shoulder, here. So as the left knee closes, I can easily pull my right elbow underneath my rib cage. Now, left knee inverts, my partner locks up, and we just pull our partner's leg towards us, fire the leg over, and now we're ready to go in. So when we feel that our initial back take and Udagatame fail for whatever reason, we just move right into a Juji, roll our partner through, and now we're ready to go in for the win. Alright guys, so now let's look at a position where instead of separating the limbs from the body with underhooks, we look to separate the limbs from the body with overhooks instead. Okay, so there's a bunch of different ways that we can look to use overhooks. Specifically, we're going to look at when our partner's just very tight and looking to stall and they have elbows close to our hips, but just some ways to do an overview of how you can start moving into overhooks. If I start pulling my knees to my chest and I look to start punching in underhooks, the second my partner takes her elbow back inside mine, I can immediately come in, look to go to overhooks here. Whenever I knee pull, I feel like my partner's beating me with the pommel. As she goes to go back inside, now I can come in and I can start going into overhooks with my partner. We can come in, we can look to go an underhook on one side. Now if my partner's head comes over me and she goes to bring her elbow back inside, we can just switch to an overhook on the opposite side and move into all of our attacks. Okay, so it makes it easy now for us to start initially by trying to get elbows across or to the center line. That fails, then we're going to look to start coming in and look to go to underhooks and go into pinch headlocks and things like that. Now, whenever I see my partner go to come towards me and she goes to bring the elbow back in, I just misdirect and I go back to the other side and we enter into overhooks. And then we can go into all of our attacks right from there. Right? One annoying thing that my partner can do from this position is just to take her elbows down and connect her knees and her elbows together. So now I feel like whenever I go to move my hips, I can't do anything. I can't pull my knees to my chest to off balance my partner, and you're still stuck from this position. Okay. Now, keep in mind, your partner can't do anything from here. Okay, they're simply stalling. But this is a position that you find yourself in a lot, and people on top will do this, right? Especially in competition when they're up on points or whatever the situation is. So how can we deal with this? Whenever I see we're in a position like this, I take one hand on the back of my partner's tricep like so. Now, I take a second hand inside my partner's shoulder. As I knee pull, my whole goal is to get my hips out in this direction. My left hand is grabbing the back of my partner's tricep. So as I pull my knees into my chest, I'm going to look to pull over my right shoulder. I pull my partner's tricep, and my hips just move out to the left slightly. Here. Now, as this happens, I punch an overhook in. Let's move this way. I punch an overhook in with my left arm. Now, after my overhook comes in with my left arm, I have to free my right knee. So I take my right elbow to the inside position relative to her shoulder, and now when she goes to keep her elbow tight, we can always use that to clear my partner's my knee through and get inside my partner's shoulder. And now from here we can come in and start moving into, this time, a clamp with an overhook. Before, we had an underhook, then moved into the clamp. Now, we moved into the clamp, and we have an overhook instead. And now we can go into all of our attacking positions right from here. Okay? So we come in. My partner's in nice and tight. Okay, and like we had talked about before, there's many ways that we can enter into this overhook position. This is just one of the ways that we're going to do it. So we come in. My partner is very tight. I feel like I can't get anything going. We go one hand to the back of the tricep. We can go right side, left side, doesn't matter. We're in a symmetrical position from here. So we come in. Left hand goes to the back of my partner's tricep. Right hand comes inside my partner's shoulder. So all in one motion, I can knee pull over my right shoulder, the opposite side as the tricep hand, and I move my hips out towards the free side. I can't move my hips out towards this side because my partner has a wedge on the side of my hips. So I move my partner's elbow away from my left hip so that my hips can come out and I can make space with an overhook. Now, as she goes to follow me and stay tight, whatever the case is, our right elbow inside my partner's left shoulder will easily allow me to take my elbow inside. So once she goes to stay nice and tight, we can easily shear my knee through. Now we come in, we have an overhook with the clamp, and now we're ready to go in with winning positions. Okay, so once again, I can feel my partner's nice and tight. Elbow inside, tricep. We pull and we shift the hips. So as we pull, notice I need to pull one to create separation of her elbow from my hip. As I pull, I have to straighten my left leg, and this is what moves my hips out of the way. So I pull, and now I straighten my left leg, and I close my left knee into my partner's hip. Here. This gives me a slight angle, and allows me now to make space for my left arm to come underneath. Right now, if I try to punch an overhook in and we're square, it's impossible. If I just knee pull and try to punch an overhook in, again, it's impossible. So I knee pull over the right shoulder, and then I move my hips out. Just this little angular advantage will allow me now to punch my left hand in. Now all we have to do is insert the right knee inside my partner's shoulder, and now we can get into all of our attacks from the clamp. Okay? So whenever we feel like someone just stalling with elbows in nice and tight, we can just knee pull, make space for our hips to move, and then go into clamp right off that. Alright, so we've looked at some ways to attack from the underhook when we're in clamp position off of a closed guard entrance. Now we're going to look to go into attack from an overhook. Alright, so once we get into this clamp position, it's so easy to interchange the play between clamp and closed guard. At any time I can get right back to a closed guard and go into all of my attacks. One of the great options we have when we're working from an overhook with a clamp is we can come in and we can just take our hand to the back of our partner's elbow and we can just clamp my partner's arm down on my lat muscle in between my elbow and my armpit. Now I'm going to push off my right foot on my partner's hip, and all I'm going to look to do is to invert my left knee once again. And again, in order to do this, I need to make sure that my right elbow tucks underneath my rib cage. So I start to push, my hips rise, and I just tuck my right elbow underneath. And now as soon as I invert my left knee, my partner's already almost on breaking point. Okay? Now all I need to do is to take my elbow to my rib cage, my two knees together, and just drive my hips forward, and we get extremely strong belly down lat jujis. My partner from here is going to get broken in half. What she has to do is start to roll. Then as she rolls, we throw our leg up and over. We can get extremely strong lat jujis down in my armpit. Okay. If you're drilling this and your partner rolls, make sure that you loosen the lock a little bit because it's very tight as you roll through. Okay. We come in. We move to this overhook clamp position. Now, we take a grip like so. Hand to the elbow, we clamp everything down in the armpit. So now as we push, we tuck the left, or the right elbow rather, underneath our rib cage, and we invert our knee down to the floor. Now we take the elbow close to the rib cage, take our two knees together, and we start going in for the finish. As our partner rolls through, we make sure that if we're drilling this at least, that we release the grip to some degree. So as she rolls through, we don't actually break her in half, and now we can come in and go for lat jujis from a top position. Okay, so we look to invert, we go belly down. Remember, the key to any inversion in this position is that my hips come off the floor and then my elbow comes underneath me. And now we can break our elbow or our knee down to the floor and go into full belly down lat jujus. Alright guys, another great option that we can look at from this clamp is we look to go into Kimuras. Okay? So whenever I see from any overhook position where I go to move in, we move it to a clamp, and now as I go in for a belly down juji, my partner just turns her head out in this direction, and we see that now there's no straightening of the arm. Whenever I see this, I just expose my partner's elbow by pulling it up, and now I reach over with my right hand and we catch. As we catch elbow to elbow, my partner goes to move away from me. What controls my partner is the clamping of my right elbow down to my partner's shoulder. If I'm lazy with my elbow, she can just rip out and away. Now the elbow's free. Now as we reach over, we catch 1, 2. Now the right elbow closes to the shoulder. So when she goes to pull away, it's not impossible, but it gives me enough time to move to a full Kimura grip. Okay? Now, I start putting real pressure on my partner with the Kimura. Right? There's a few options that you can use from here. First is how can we finish the Kimura? With any Kimura, we don't push the hand towards the head. We pull the elbow. So the first thing we need to do is we need to put tension running through my partner's arm. So I do this by taking her elbow and I move her elbow to the same axis as the shoulder line. So I pull her elbow up to the shoulder line. This immediately puts her on breaking point. Now to finish, I don't push the hand towards the head. You see when I push the hand towards the head, there's all this motion that we have to go through, okay? And that's a lot of motion if I have a resisting opponent. Rather, I just take my right elbow and I simply pull it down towards the floor. So this is my support hand, my left hand on the wrist, and what actually breaks my partner's arm is my right elbow pulling down towards the floor. So there's almost no range of motion. We can get incredibly strong elbow dislocations with this Kimura. Okay. Now, as I go to finish from here, I put tension on my partner and look to go to finish. If my partner is smart, she'll tripod with her feet and she'll look to aggressively roll through. Now I can stop this to some degree, but I can't always look to keep a big person down by just controlling their hips. Okay. Eventually, someone's gonna be able to roll through. So whenever I see this, we can end up in T-Kimuras, or we can come in here, or we can come back. We can simply disengage our legs momentarily, so as she comes over, we can start sitting up and going into Jujitame. We have all kinds of options from here. Okay, so the main thing is just putting heat on our partner to get them to move. Okay, so we come in and we go in with a clamp to Kimura. So we pull the arm towards us, we reach over and we clamp the right elbow down. So now when she has to pull away, it's not impossible, but it's difficult. Now we come in and we lock. Now, to finish, we take the hand inside the thigh, we pull the elbow up to the shoulder line. That puts breaking pressure on my partner and takes a tension and takes a slack out of the joints. Now we just take our right elbow and simply pull it down towards the floor. That gives us strong finishes. Okay. Now as she goes to roll, I can do a good job with my left foot of keeping her hips down, but it's someone who's intelligent. As soon as they feel this, they're gonna tripod and force themselves to roll through. And then we see this. Now we can just come in and go into all of our follow-up attacks off of that. Okay. So once again, so you guys can see a different angle. We move to a clamp. We pull. We move to Kimura. As we lock Kimura, now my partner is in a good position to go into a roll. I can try to defend it with this left leg. So the first thing I look to do is to pull the elbow to the shoulder line. Now I look to pull my right elbow down towards the floor. That's what gives me strong finishes. Right? If my partner for any reason tucks the hand inside, let's say, I feel like I can't separate it, it's pretty easy to just extend my left leg and to pull the hand out. Okay? If for any reason, as I go to lock the Kimura, my partner goes to posture up and puts her hands on the floor, and now we can just come in and look to throw triangles into place. Whenever I see my partner posture out of a clamp, we'll do more of this later. We just move into our front triangles and go into all of our attacks from there. Okay, but another great option when we have an overhook and my partner denies me any straightening of the arm to go in for jujis, and we just move into Kimuras instead. Alright guys, so the next thing we're going to look to do is we're going to look to go into an omoplata from here. Now without the gi, omoplatas are used mostly for setups for other submissions and for sweeps. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you that you're going to finish a lot of these, but they're very useful, at least without the gi, to set up other submissions. And we're going to look at how we can do that next. Okay, we're going to come in. This time we go into a clamp off the overhook. We go into the lat juji, whatever the case is. My partner starts to turn away from me. From here, we're just going to take our left leg up and over my partner's shoulder. Now, what everyone tries to do to keep their partner broken down from omoplata is to bring their feet to the floor. So as she goes to posture up, they try to bring their feet down to the ground. And now, as my partner goes to posture up, posture all the way up, we end up in a position where we're way off the floor. How I keep my partner's posture broken is not by taking my feet to the ground, it's by taking my hips off the floor. So as she goes to posture up, even if she gets all the way up, just by simply taking my hips off the floor and lengthening my body, I'll throw my partner down to the ground. Now, by just taking my hips up off the ground, when she goes to rise up, it's just impossible. Okay? So don't think about throwing your feet down and trying to push down to the floor. Just think about lengthening your body and raising your hips. Okay? Now, we're going to come up using a pendulum, and now we're in a position where we can go in and start to attack omoplata on our partner. Now, when you actually do omoplata the right way, it can be an incredibly strong break. It's both of your legs attacking your partner's arm. The question is, how can we actually get strong breaks on our partner? First thing I'm going to look to do is I'm going to look to switch my legs out to the side. Now, I'm going to look to move away from my partner and break my partner down to hip as best as we can. Now what I want to look to do is look to make my partner's elbow touch the floor. Okay? If I look to go in here, I can put a good amount of pressure on my partner. I'm actually get breaks. What I want is to shove my partner's elbow all the way down to the floor so that now my calf muscle covers her elbow. Only now, when I heist up, can I get extremely strong breaks where the elbow will actually dislocate. What I want is not to push in this direction. Everyone thinks about it like a kimura and they push towards the head. What I want is to heist up and to pull my knee back in this direction. And this is what gives me strong breaks. Okay? It's not a push forward. I push forward just to get my knee close to the floor. But now it actually finishes the lock is me retracting my knee out in this direction, almost like I'm doing a technical stand-up. And that gives me incredibly strong breaks. Okay? So once we actually lock in omoplata, we get her elbow to the floor, we cover it with our calf muscle. Now we lean forward and we bring our knee to the ground. Now what breaks her is to take my left knee and to retract it back and behind the body. Okay? So the motion without a partner is this. I lean forward, and now the finish is this. Here. Okay? We get extremely strong omoplata locks when we're attacking our partner. So we come in, my partner goes to turn down, we throw our left leg up and over. Now, we control our partner's wrist, and as she goes to posture, I just lengthen my body, and my hips come off the ground. This will always break my partner's posture back down. So when she goes to posture up again, it's just so difficult. She can get so far, but once she goes to come all the way up, it's just so hard. Now we pendulum up, and we move into this good attacking position. Now we start to break our partner down. We move out and away, and now we push our legs out to the side. Now we physically push our partner's elbow down to the floor so we can cover it with our own calf muscle. Now we lean forward to bring our knee to the floor. Now what breaks our partner is a retraction of our left knee behind our body, and we can get extremely strong breaks. So we cover the elbow here. Once we cover the elbow, we bring our heel to our butt. Now when we lean forward, bring the knee to the floor, when she goes to slip her hand out, it's just so difficult. And now we can easily take our left knee behind us and get strong breaks with an omoplata. Okay? Just as we spoke about before, we need to have a bridge between the upper body and the lower body. Okay? It has to be an ingrained habit that when you train, if someone pulls out of an upper body submission, you immediately go into the legs. If somebody sprawls their legs away from you, where you can't access the legs, you immediately go into the upper body. The second that you can work with this simple idea of moving from the upper body to the lower body and the lower body to the upper body, is going to make everything so much easier in terms of attacking people. Okay, so we're going to look to come in. Now we move into this clamp position. Once again, we looked at from my partner was in tight like so. We can do this from a bunch of different positions. Okay, we can have control of our partner's wrist, and we can just simply pull our knees into our chest, overhook with one hand, and now we have an overhook. Okay, we can do a position where my partner has inside bicep ties. I go to pull, and as I go to pull, she goes to come towards me, she beats me, and now I overhook on the other side. So we hit misdirections, and you guys will see this in a lot of the live roll commentaries, where I move from one side to the other, okay? But it's not just when my partner's clamped down like so. We can do this from a bunch of different situations, where I come in and I move into these overhook positions, okay? Now we're gonna come in, we move to the clamp with an overhook, and now as we move to the omoplata, my partner goes to turn away, we move in, and she goes to posture up, okay? For whatever reason, I feel like I can't go into omoplata anymore, we're just gonna scoop inside of our partner's leg. Now, we're gonna invert our left knee down to the floor. So my partner pulls out of the omoplata, no problem. And now look what we have. The same exact position that we were in before, where all I have to do is take my right leg, fire it over, and then pull my partner's leg away from her heel, away from the butt. And now, once again, I just slide my knee through, and we can enter into my partner's legs nice and easily. Okay? So from any one of these good attacking positions, we come into an overhook, we move to an omoplata. Now as my partner goes to posture, we just scoop inside the leg. Now the key is that I get my knee inside my partner's hip, okay? So I have a pull and a push. If she goes to sprawl away from me here, it's very easy. But now, when I can extend my hip into her, when she goes to sprawl her leg away from me now, it's difficult, because now her leg's wedged in place. Now as she goes to move out of the omoplata, I just fire my left leg up and over. Now we can easily pull our partner's knee, or heel, rather, away from my partner's butt. And now we can move into positions where we can go into attacks with my partner nice and easy and look to sit up and bridge the upper body and the lower body. So when our partner pulls out of the omoplata, you go right into attacks on your partner's legs. Okay, so now we have a partner who, instead of turning away from us and giving us kimoras or omoplatas, chooses to turn into us instead. Now, let's take a look at something. The only way that my partner, from a clamp position, can physically posture into me is to take her hand to the floor, push off the hand, and move towards me, okay? If she just takes her hand off the floor and she tries to posture, it's impossible, because I'm hanging off the longest end of the lever of her spine. So the only way she can get up is to post her hand on the floor and to physically push herself towards me, where the head comes over mine, and now she can extract her elbow, and now she's free. Okay? So what we're going to look to do is we're going to take advantage of this posted hand. As my partner goes to posture up, we're going to raise our hips with our partner. The way we do this is by actively catching into our partner's far trap muscle with our heel. Okay? If our partner goes to rise, and our hips stay low, you see how it's difficult to extract my leg, okay, especially I have long legs and she's small, so it's hard to take my right leg out. But when my partner goes to pull her head up, when my hips rise, it allows me now to easily fire my right leg up and over, and now you catch a trap triangle. And now from here, it's very easy to go into all the previous moves we looked at, where we can start to move into regular triangles. We start to move to Hantai Sinkakus on the other side, and we can go into all of our attacks right from there. Okay? So we come in, we move into this overhook clamp. Now we catch over our partner's far shoulder. The second I see my partner go to posture, I raise my hips with my partner. Okay? I don't let her head rise while my hips stay down, then I get caught. But make sure that as she goes to rise, my hips come up nice and high. Where now I can just fire my leg over, move into a position where I can go in, straight angles, and go into winning positions. Okay? Whenever I see my partner going to take her head up and over mine, to pull the elbow free, just know your partner has to post the hand. So we put our partner in another series of dilemmas from here. If she stays with the head in the same spot, we go for a belly down juji. If she moves away from me and turns the elbow down, then we attack kimoras and we attack omoplatas. If my partner moves towards me, then we just go in and attack triangles instead. Okay, so another great option when your partner goes to posture up towards you is going for Take-Atame. Okay, and this doesn't just apply to a clamp position. It applies to whenever your partner tries to put an underhook in and overextends their body. So, for example, if my partner's standing up, she goes to pass my guard. She's not quite past my legs yet, and she goes to punch an underhook in, but I still have my knees in position. We can move into Take-Atame. We can easily go into positions where we can attack our partner. This will make your partner very cognizant of overextending into underhooks. So whenever you feel like she's coming in here, she goes to put an underhook in. I don't fear this underhook. I just make space. Now I can go right into my offense. Okay. The same thing applies here. So we're in this clamp position. This time, my partner comes up and she goes to face me. We just slide our hand down to our partner's elbow, and we pull our partner's hand into our armpit here. Now, as she goes to face me, we take our left foot up. We place it on our partner's lat muscle. As she's coming up, we take our knee from the far shoulder to the near shoulder. So now we have one of her shoulder. We have her shoulder trapped between two of our knees. We take our foot physically up and we step on our partner's lat muscle. So we move the brachial fulcrum from up by the shoulder to where we need it, down by the elbow. And now the finish is the closing of my left elbow. My hips coming forward, and as my right knee pushes in this direction, my left knee closes in this direction, and I pull my left knee towards my chest. So it's a scissoring of the legs. So my right knee extends into her shoulder, my left knee pulls into my chest, and the two knees close towards each other as my hips rise. Okay? Doesn't look like much, but it's incredibly powerful. So right leg extends, left leg retracts. Right knee closes, left knee closes. So you get this scissoring motion, and we get incredibly strong finishes. So you move the brachial fulcrum up, hips come up nice and high. And now from here, as the elbow comes down, we scissor the legs as the hips come in, and we get incredibly strong finishes with the Take-Atame. So as my partner goes to move towards me, we just come in, as she goes, we replace one knee from shoulder to shoulder. Now we move the brachial fulcrum by taking our foot to our partner's lat muscle. And now from here, the hips rise, we scissor the two legs, and we get incredibly strong finishes with Take-Atame. And once again, we can use this from any position where our partner going to pass our guard, and she feels like she wants to punch an underhook in, we can just come in and start to immediately threaten positions, or I can start to put my partner in dangerous positions. Making sure that we always align the head with the center line, and now we can come in and get very strong Take-Atame finishes. Okay? So another great option when our partner goes to posture out of the clamp. Alright, so I'm just going to introduce you guys to a very unique and very efficient grip that we can use. It's called a reverse figure 4. Okay, this is when I take my partner in like so, close guard, and we use a reverse figure 4, where we take one hand on the wrist, one hand comes through, and we physically lock like a Kimura. Okay, so now when my partner goes to move around, it's incredibly difficult. We always make sure that we use a supinated grip where our palm faces towards us, rather than a pronated grip where our palm faces away from us. If you look at the weakness of my grip, it's the space again between the middle finger and the thumb. So if I use a palm facing down grip, my partner can easily straighten her arm, extend in that space, and now she's gone. Okay? It's very easy now for her to pull her, either straighten her arm and rotate, and now that space is exploited, or pull her arm towards her, and now use her second hand to punch my hand off. No, pull the hand in. Good. No, pull the hand in and push this hand off. Good. And now my grip is exploited. So we make sure that when we come in, we use a supinated grip like so. So now, when my partner goes to extend her arm towards me, there's no chance of her ever hobbling out. And in addition, I cover the space of the grip with the mass of my partner's body like so. Okay? So now my partner goes to move out and around. It's very difficult. Now, we play the dilemma between elbow inside the hip and outside the hip. That's what we're going to look at next. If my partner's elbow is outside the hip, we'll take the arm behind the back and enter into all of our attacks. If the elbow is inside the hip, we have to take the arm across the body and enter into all of our attacks. Okay, but we're just going to look at some setups into a reverse figure 4. Okay, if we're just sitting in like so, we have control of our partner's wrist. We can just make a pass off from left hand to right hand, and now, as we knee pull, we come in. Okay, So anytime we're playing around here or grip fighting, we can just make a subtle switch to a 2-on-1 wrist. As we have a 2-on-1 wrist, we knee pull, we move into positions like so. Okay? And once again, we can use this 2-on-1 wrist for a lot of different things. We can pass across the body. We can use a 2-on-1 wrist to move outside and move the limbs away from the body. We can move into underhooks. We can use a 2-on-1 to go into underhooks and pinch headlocks. This is a very versatile grip, the 2-on-1 wrist. We haven't looked at it much yet, but we can use it for a lot of good attacks. Either pulling hands across the body, pulling elbows away from the body, and then exposing the space between the elbow and the rib cage, or using a misdirection to pull elbows outside the body and going into overhooks on the opposite side, as well as using it to control, knee pull, and then move into reverse figure fours. Okay, so we come in, we look to go into our new reverse figure four grip. Let's say we take a 2-on-1, we go pull our partner's arm across, and she uses her second hand to start either posting on my far shoulder or peeling my grip off. We come in, and as we knee pull, we switch, and we just strip the grip off. And now what do we have? Our reverse figure four, where now we can come in, we can control the elbow and just make a switch to a supinated grip, where now we have control of our partner's arm. So there's a bunch of different ways that we can use these gripping sequences, okay? And as you guys are going to see in the rolling footage with the commentary, it's always just a battle of grip fighting. So we come in and we look to move our partner's arm across the body, look to come in, and now we're through. Look to always make grip changes where we knee pull, we misdirect, and now we look to create angular advantage. Where we're in here, and we're moving around. As my partner goes to post a far shoulder, we come in and we thumb post. Now we come in and we move our partner up and around, okay? So we use a variety of these grips now to always get our partner up and off balance, misdirecting over both shoulders, okay? Whenever you see your partner overcommit to addressing a grip, this usually means that their elbow is inside the hip, and we can move into our preferred grips from there, okay? So whenever I see, just so you guys get a general idea as we're moving on now, and everything's starting to make sense, we come in, and when I take an initial grip, the only way my partner can clear the hand is to take her second hand and to peel off. As this happens, I misdirect, and now I pull the arm across. Now she's going to posture up. Now I misdirect off the opposite side shoulder. I let her pull the arm out, and I just misdirect over this shoulder. Okay, so it's always constant knee pulling and misdirecting. So as she goes to fight, we're coming in, and we're just moving side to side until eventually we have movement that leads to some kind of angular advantage, okay? That's just an introduction to our reverse figure four, and then we're going to go into attacks off of that. All right, so now, when we look to go in with this reverse figure four, we come in and however we look to set our reverse figure four up, we come in and we get to a reverse figure four. Now your partner has two choices. She can let me put the hand behind the back, or she can deny me putting the hand behind the back. In either case, we have a good options. At first, I'm going to start to force my partner's arm behind the back. I do this by pulling my left elbow out like so, as I knee pull over my right shoulder. So my left elbow retracts up towards the ceiling, and my knees pull over my right shoulder. Here. Now that I have my partner's arm behind the back, we can start to create an angular advantage. So I take my left knee, I extend it, and I close it into my partner's hip. Once we have this angle, I take my grip off, I switch to an overhook, where now my partner will free the hand, that's fine. Now we come in, we take the elbow inside, and we just move into an overhook clamp position, where now we can go into all of our previous attacks. So we use a reverse figure four to create an angle, and we go into attacks from a clamp. So we come through, we use any kind of grip to come in, we move to a reverse figure four. Now as we raise the elbow, we knee pull, and the elbow comes behind, the hand comes behind rather. Now we come in, we overhook, make a switch to an inside elbow position relative to our partner's far side shoulder, and then we just invert our right knee, and now we're ready to go in and go into all of our attacking positions right from here. Okay? So we use the reverse figure four. If we can keep the elbow outside of the hips, we just put the hand behind the back and use it to go into attacks with clamps. Alright. So this time, our partner denies us taking the elbow outside the hip. So we're just going to pass it along to the other side of our body. So we come in, we play the dilemma between the elbow inside and outside the hip. If our partner allows us to take the elbow outside the hip, then we just move into these good attacking positions here. If our partner denies us putting the hand behind the back, and she insists on keeping the hand in nice and tight, now what do we have? We have an elbow inside the hip. So now all we need to do is start by knee pulling and attempting to open up our left elbow. As we feel we can't take our partner's arm through, now we just take an additional knee pull over the right shoulder. We just feed our partner's arm by. Because of my palm up grip here, when my partner goes to pull the arm back, it takes a second. And this will allow us now to easily reach over and grab our partner's far lat muscle. Now we have angular advantage. We have a side scissor. Now we can look to come into all the attacks that we did before in our partner's back. Okay, so we come in, we play a dilemma between moving from a reverse figure four, elbow outside, to moving into clamp. If she goes to resist, now instead of moving outside, we just take everything on by. So the hands extend across the body as I knee pull over my right shoulder. Here. And now we just take our left hand out, and as we take the left hand out, we pendulum up to gather head height. And now we're ready to go into all of our back takes, pendulum sweeps, and all of that. Okay? So we play the dilemma between an open elbow and a closed elbow. An open elbow allows us to put the hand behind the back and create angular advantage. And a closed elbow allows us to bring the elbow across the center line and create an angular advantage.